In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what nobody tells you about being a full-time YouTuber. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start this off by showing you firstly my successful YouTube channel, Barbarian Body. This is a men's fitness channel. It's a multi-six-figure-a-year business. And the most important part, I actually only spend about 4 hours per week working on it. So I'm going to start by explaining everything in the beginning, all the stuff that I had to learn, the stuff that you didn't know about actually building the channel up to, it's now 916,000 subscribers. And then from there, I'm going to be sharing what nobody tells you about actually having a successful YouTube business. So let's begin with the beginning process, the initial learning load and learning curve that you have to adapt to become a successful YouTuber. Because you're going to have to learn things that you likely have zero experience with. When I first started, I had no idea about filming, editing, being in front of a camera. But that's all stuff that is really important that you have to go out and actually learn to create a successful channel. You have to learn how to properly edit your videos, how to be charismatic on camera. You have to learn graphic design for your thumbnails, SEO so that your videos can be found, and then also reading your analytics and adapting your content around what your audience is doing when they're watching your content so that they actually enjoy and stick around to watch more of your content. So this learning phase right here, it took me about 6 months to a full year. And this was intensive, watching lots of YouTube videos. Like I didn't have anybody that was mentoring me or showing me exactly how to build a successful YouTube business. This was just me going out onto YouTube, how to be good on camera, how to make good videos, how to edit a video. And this process is really the most labor intensive. This is going to be the portion of your career as a YouTuber that is going to require the most amount of work from you. And more importantly, this is going to be the most thankless phase of your YouTube career because you're going to pretty much see zero results. I mean, you could get lucky and have a viral video out of nowhere, but that's very rare and we're not going to talk about that. That first 6 months to 12 months, there's going to be very little return on investment. So you have to be mentally prepared for that. Keep working as hard as you possibly can to learn all this stuff, practice it and improve yourself. Now, you also have to be a self-starter and you got to be entrepreneurial because you need to be consistent with this stuff. You have to make sure that you're the one every week posting your 1 to 2 videos or, whatever your schedule is, but ensuring that you're consistently recording these, editing them, and doing so without somebody telling you to do it, and doing it without pretty much any reward as well. Not only do you have to discipline yourself to be consistent, but also you're gonna have a myriad of problems come up while you're trying to create content, while you're trying to build your brand. And this is where the entrepreneurial aspect is really going to kick in because you're gonna have to go out and find solutions to all of these problems on your own accord, do the proper research, and then begin implementing those solutions into your content creation or into building your brand. Now, building a following and gaining momentum takes time and also a lot of consistency. You've got to create even when, again, there's zero results in the beginning. Your consistency is one of the most important aspects. So in order for you to keep pushing and creating this content and doing it without any return on investment for the first little while, you've got to have that faith in yourself. And you've also got to have that grit to keep going when it's like, why am I doing this? There's pretty much no results. Now, when you actually do start to build your following and you get, your first few hundred subscribers or your first couple thousand subscribers, well, then the next problem is going to come into play and it's going to be, okay, how do I monetize this? Well, you're going to have to create a website. You're going to have to start creating great products and all of that stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to plan it out and do it properly. So this is when you're going to have to start to learn like how to use a Squarespace designer or a Shopify site or a Wix site, how to put it together, take the pictures that are required for the content on the website, designing the site, and then creating your products as well. If it's going to be a digital course, such as the products that I've created for Barbarian Body, you're going to have to start to create these step-by-step processes for your followers to follow along with and try and attain the same type of success that you've achieved on their own accord. And when it comes to creating these products, you want to make sure that they're really good as well. Because if you create a terrible product, yeah, you might have somebody buy the product, but they're going to return it if the quality is not up there. So the amount of time that you're going to have to spend in order to create this really great content is going to be significantly large. It might take you 40 to 100 hours just to create a great one-time purchase piece of content. And the price of that product might only be like $47. It could be up to like $97. But the point is, you really want to put in a ton of effort in creating this great product. So when your followers do purchase your products with their hard-earned money, they're not going to return it. Quality products are extremely important and they take a lot of time. Now let's get into when things start working out for you. So the first aspect, and this is probably the coolest part right here, is that crazy feeling when you realize, yo, I'm actually doing this. this is possible for me. And this typically happens at like your first big video. So you might have had like 30, 40, or 50 videos out, and maybe on that 30th, 40th, or 50th video, all of a sudden YouTube's like, you know what? We're gonna start to push this in front of a larger audience. And then all of a sudden, the algorithm is really starting to pick up. Your views are going up, your subscriber rate is going up. And at that moment, that is the coolest moment in the world, because you're like, wow, I knew that staying consistent with this and working hard was worth it, because this is actually working. I'm doing something that only a fraction of a percentage of the world is actually able to do. So from there, your audience is gonna start to grow quickly, week after week. And the feeling of that is just out of this world. The engagement from your viewers, the comments that they're leaving, it's just this intoxicating feeling of, wow, I am really able to do this. And then you're gonna have the inevitable questions from your friends and your family. So you actually make money with that YouTube thing? How are you gonna monetize it? And I'm telling you, when you first start to get these questions, it's gonna be the coolest problem you've ever dealt with. You're also gonna start to have your followers reaching out to you. They're gonna hit you up on Instagram or Snapchat, obviously in the comment section of your YouTube videos, but you're also gonna start to get direct emails of them reaching out to you saying, hey man, this video really helped me change my life, or it helped me really learn how to do this certain thing, or your content is so enjoyable to watch. I can't wait to get home every day so that I can watch one of your videos. And again, it's just about this feeling right here, the first aspect of it, and how cool that is. It's such a rewarding payoff just in that sense. Without the monetization aspect, that feeling is beyond anything that I can explain. From there, you're gonna have to start to learn, okay, now I've got my content, and if it's educational, it'll be like, how to build a deck. Now you're gonna have to think to yourself, okay, I also wanna mention, my course that I have as well. How do I go about incorporating that into my video? And it's a unique little opportunity. You're like, well, I've kind of got to create like a 30-second TV commercial inside of my video. And it's like, okay, how do I organically put this in the video without making my audience hate it, or without having my audience skip over the video? And these unique problems that you start to have, you have to come up with creative solutions for it. And it's actually a lot of fun to try and solve that and put your own products into your videos so that your customers start to buy. And that's when you get your first sale. And when you actually get that first sale online, you first get a payment from a customer. Again, it's about that feeling of, wow, you actually can make money online. I remember when I made my first sale, somebody bought like a $5 product of mine. I was just like, wow, you actually can make money online. It's a total paradigm shift. And when it happens, again, it's just like the coolest feeling in the world. And from there, you're gonna start to get more and more sales. More customers are gonna continue to purchase your products. And if you spent the time creating a good website, a good sales page, and maybe a good video sales letter on that sales page, you're gonna start to get a decent amount of customers purchasing, or followers purchasing your products that you're offering to them. And when you start making a lot of those sales and the money's really coming in, and it starts to match whatever you were making as a salary for your job, or if you were making an hourly rate, when it starts to match that, or it's starting to get close to that point, in your mind you're like, am I going to be able to quit my job? Is this actually something I'm going to be able to do soon? And you then actually have the ability to, yes, quit your job to become a full-time YouTuber. Now, as soon as you do this, you're going to have this feeling of a little bit of concern, more so excitement, but more so it's like, okay, what do I do to ensure that I'm going to continue making money from this and that I won't need another job? And that's when you're going to have to start to create systems inside of your business that are going to help you to make sales automatically, deal with your customers, customer support teams, having all these little things installed in the business. You don't actually spend all of your time responding to your customers, finding solutions to your website hosting or your domain hosting, or you're going to have to come up with all these little systems so that you can actually remove yourself from inside of the business and you can work on the business to actually grow it. And it'll be at this point when your workload is going to be significantly large. You're a one-man team or a one-woman team, and you're responsible for not just creating content, creating your own commercials, sort of your ads that you put inside of your YouTube videos, designing the thumbnails, editing your own videos, then doing your website, creating the product, dealing with your customers, building a community. You're going to realize your workload is going to get significantly high. So now, again, we're going back to the systems here. This is when it's going to become very important so that you can eliminate yourself from doing all these smaller menial tasks and you can focus on the bigger tasks that are going to really make a significant impact on the business's ROI. So after running around with your head cut off for doing this for probably a few months, at least a few months, if not even a couple of years, depends on how long you can handle it, depends on when burnout happens, or it depends on how smart you are in building systems and hiring. That's when you're going to actually start to hire your first employees. And typically it'll be somebody overseas. You'll either go to Upwork or you'll go to Fiverr, hire somebody to help you to do these smaller tasks. Maybe it comes down to editing. Maybe you hire an editing team. Maybe you hire a website manager or a marketer, whatever it's going to be. You now have to start to actually hire people so that you can remove yourself from those roles and start getting back to creating the content. And I'm going to say this as well. At this point, you're going to feel very overwhelmed. And when it comes time to sit down and record a video, the same way that I'm doing right here, you're going to feel very, very overwhelmed and very burnt out. This is why it's so important for you to create these systems and to hire these people so that your quality of your content doesn't go down because you're focused on a million other things inside of the business. And in fact, you're going to have those things running smoothly by themselves with employees you've hired, with different softwares that you've installed onto your website or into your systems so that you don't have to be doing all these menial tasks and you can get back to creating really great content that's going to market your business to your followers. And once you start to implement the system and your employees are working really well for you and everything's moving smoothly, it will take a while. It took me probably about a full 365 days to actually start to implement all of these different systems and employees and put them all in the right spot and create manuals and teaching, employees, et cetera, until the business was actually at the point where I could be like, okay, now we're at 4 hours of work per week, and that includes all my content. It's actually pretty much only creating content, thumbnail, filming, and editing as well. And that's actually everything. Being a YouTuber and becoming a successful YouTuber is the craziest thing you could ever imagine. It's totally possible. I hope I was able to shed some light on all the things that you guys don't see of a successful YouTube channel and everything that's required before it gets to that point, out of you mentally, out of you physically, and actually sometimes financially too, buying cameras, lights, setup, etc. And actually, if you want to learn a little bit more about how I built Barbarian Body and how I built it up to now 916,000 YouTube subscribers, there should be a video that's going to pop up here or in the comment section where I'm going to explain a little bit more in depth with everything that I did to create that channel and build it up to where it's at currently. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button down below. Also be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.